3年 B組
真係教書嘅？
係啊。
哇！而家做教書都幾危險㗎喎。
I don't want any trouble.
Big Brother is an action drama film that brings social conscience to problems of Hong Kong's education system. Donnie Yen stars as an ex-military, no-experienced teacher named Henry Chen Xia at a lower-standing secondary school. The film revolves around him dealing with 5 bad students, who each have problems at school and especially at home, which reflects Hong Kong's typical domestic and social issues. The film sheds light on Hong Kong's flawed systems, norms, and its consequences, such as the long wait for government housing for the poor, increasing number of student suicides, racism against minorities in Hong Kong, gangster violence for targeted land, bullying, patriarchy, and the extreme pressure to do well in school. I'm sure a lot of locals are familiar with these issues addressed in the film. I can certainly relate with this guy. I was genuinely impressed with how they managed to cram this many Hong Kong issues, whilst indulging us with some Ip Man Donnie Yen action scenes. The film tries really hard to be a tearjerker with its social commentary on Hong Kong issues, but it's a little superficial, and not enough time is invested in presenting genuine character development in the students and their families, so most of these emotionally charged scenes felt a little weak and corny. I did not like the whole go-kart resolution scenes with the girl, the teacher, and her patriarchal father. Sure, the driving scenes were visually awesome. Who wouldn't want to drive a go-kart out in public, through the city and in the market? That was cool, but it's how it got resolved that bugged me. It was ridiculous and melodramatic. Billy Lau's character has this over-the-top shouting and crying confession after he thinks she got run over by a truck. It was supposed to be a scene full of feels, but ended up being a cringe fest. And it's such a waste too because they set up her narrative really nicely. It touches on a sensitive topic of how Asian families prefer boys over girls, and there's a part where the father tells his daughter to put makeup on so that she can find a nice man to marry. I like the scene where we get a shot of 2 Hong Kong bills on the table, and before the daughter goes off to school, her dad shouts and reminds her not to take the 500 because that is for her younger brother, so she takes the 100 instead. Then cut to the next shot of the brother, and you see that he's a kid, like in primary school. And despite this unfairness at home, the film gives the audience enough scenes of the siblings to show us that they are actually really close, and it's nice to see them have a sweet relationship. The most touching scene I felt was done really well was when the alcoholic father, who has been in rehab and is finally sober, speaks out about his issues and how proud he actually is of his sons, but finds it difficult to communicate with them. His acting in that scene was great. I felt touched, but then it got ruined as soon as they cut to a shot of his sons crying because the acting was so bad I couldn't help bursting out in laughter in the cinema. The action sequences in Ip Man fashion were fantastic and got me really pumped. There were only 2 major fight scenes, one in a smaller, tight space, a locker changing room, which had a few hilarious moments, and at the school's playground towards the climax of the film. We got 2 juxtaposed fight sequences that were both unique and different. It was fun to see Jackie Chan's famous prop fighting in the film. Yen used lockers to fight the bad guys in a confined space, and then later we got to see him fight using school equipment in a more open area with monkey bars. Anyways, because the film tried to cram in 5 families and their issues, the teacher's backstory, and the school's struggles, and 2 awesome fight scenes, the film lacked genuine emotional weight. And because we didn't have enough time to care for these characters, when they go from bad to good students, it's unconvincing and cheesy. But I seriously appreciate what Donnie Yen was trying to do with this film. It's definitely a more mainstream film with lots of cliches, touching on some serious problems that plague Hong Kong's youth and educational system. It's interesting and relatable, but it gets dealt with in such a swift and easy way.
You
get it, don't you?
There was potential for some real heart in the film, but it was undermined by a few things. Poor acting, easy resolutions, unrealistic conclusions. It was touching and inspiring, and I appreciate the positive messages in the film. I came into the cinema, didn't know anything about this movie, but I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed the film. Anyways, thank you for watching my review. I did this because one of my best friends worked on it, and also because I felt the film resonated with me, as I'm a teacher in a local primary school in Hong Kong.
早晨。